Chris Leigh has made more 00 gauge station buildings than he has cups of coffee. But in 2010, he faced his biggest challenge yet: renovate a real, life-size ex-LNWR station building. One year and a specialist railway room later, and Chris had moved in, and he still lives here today. Who'd have guessed? The only problem is, there's a real noisy main road here, and I can't help but noticing all of the rail trains have gone.
But there's plenty of little ones inside if you want to come and have a look.
I think that sounds like a good idea. It's freezing out here. Come on, let's go. Right, so anyone who knows you, Chris, knows that you're a massive fan of the GWR and Canadian Railways too. So this layout incorporates both. How did that happen?
Well, the Canadian layout was in the spare room at my previous house, and when I moved here I realised that we really needed something on which model rail review test running could be done, and initially I was going to mix the two together. That didn't work, and I then remembered a layout called Safton, which we featured in a very early issue of Model Rail, which had a Trix Twin vintage layout or circuit around the outside of a scenic layout. I brought the bits from the previous house, the bits of the Canadian layout, kind of laid them out on the floor up here to see how it would go, and found that I could just about squeeze a British double track circuit in.
Well, the other thing I've noticed is actually round here, you've got a wonderful trestle bridge. So this is the trestle bridge, and it can't possibly be scratch built.
It is, every last stick of it, and I believe there's probably about 10,000 pieces in it.
So how long did it take you to build?
7 years, but for 2 years in the middle of that it was in store while I did the work on the house here. So.
And you managed to transport it here?
Yes, it's mainly on one piece of foam board.
If you're new to railway modelling, you might not know the difference between HO and 00 gauge. Actually, the track gauge is exactly the same. They share the same track. That's a gauge of 16.5 millimetres. But the scale is different. HO is 187 scale and 00 is 176 scale. Now, the reason for this difference in scale is because 00 British outline models have slightly oversized bodies, and that was to accommodate the archaic motors that they had back in the day when 00 gauge started. Now, because British trains tend to be slightly smaller than their American or continental counterparts, that was the reason why they struggled to fit motors into the bodies. Hence, make the body a bit larger and you can fit the motor right in.